I'm here to talk to you a little bit about a new feature that we think is really going to change the game in how people build data experiences on top of Looker. But I think before we go there, we kind of need to take a step back and talk about the value of data. And Paulina did a great job of already setting this up, which is, when we think about BI, when we talk about BI, it conjures up images of dashboards and investigation and gaining insights. But in modern businesses, there's so much more to the value of data than just this interaction between the data and asking questions of it. Because of all of the different silos where data is existing today, and because our business is sort of operating in this extremely complex environment, we need to do more with the data. We need to be able to make it operational. We need to make it so that it can influence decisions that we make and automate things that we are doing in our workflows. And really, that's when we start to close the gap between the insights that we are trying to generate and taking action. And when we think about the personas and the people that are consuming the data, I love how Paulina was talking about this, how you want to sort of interact with the individuals who are going to be consuming this data and think about how they're asking questions. Think about the kinds of insights they want to derive. Because when you look across the spectrum of the different folks that are in an organization, they all have different needs within the business, and they all have different ways that they want to interact with data. I'm reminded kind of my history before Looker, where I used to work a lot with service providers and telcos. And in wireless carriers, for instance, they're collecting data on their network infrastructure to understand where capacity is going to need to be added in the future. But that same data that they use to think about the capacity of their network is also interesting to billing and to the marketing teams, where they're interested in being able to mash that data up and understand where they are going to be able to put new marketing campaigns and understand where they would be able to take their business. We want to be able to ask questions of data, yes, but we also want data to meet us where we work. We want it to be right inside of the operational workflows that we are using. And that's when data is truly valuable, when it not only gives us insights, but it automates the things that we do and it influences decisions down the road. So when we get to this point, that's where we're thinking about Looker as a platform. When we want to go beyond BI and give you the ability to build these rich experiences so that you can deliver dashboards, but also deliver insights and automations and connect together all of the SaaS tools that we use and connect together all of the different business units within your organization. And this is a great tee up for our new feature that we are looking to deliver that sort of takes this to the next level. The idea is that the extension framework, as we are calling it, allows you to build new experiences, new data-driven experiences right on top of Looker. We really think this is going to change the game in how fast you can actually deliver experiences. So when Paulina was talking about being able to go out and talk to their users and be able to ask them questions about how they interact with data and figure out what that workflow might look like as they're building out their solution, that's where we want people to focus their time. We want to be able to have them focus on building the experience and connecting the data, not focus on all of the underpinnings and the infrastructure that goes underneath of it. That's what the extension framework is all about. And when it comes to building fast, we've already got this in beta, and we have a bunch of different partners and customers taking advantage of it today. We're pretty impressed at the speed at which they're able to get to new experiences straight away and make some big change and impact. So we're really excited about how you'll take advantage of this. So taking a step back to talk about how this works. Well, when you think about building an experience today, not to get into necessarily all the meaty details, but you can imagine all of the things that you have to spin up in order to support that experience. You have the back end and front end. You think about authenticating the users and tying it all together with the data itself. And Looker helps you with our APIs and with the tools that we give you. But the focus for you shouldn't be on just building all of this infrastructure and all the things. It should be about focusing on the experience that you want to build and actually incorporating these workflows and doing those kinds of activities that Paulina was talking about, where you can engage with your users and think about the experience and workflow that they need more so. So the extension framework sort of obfuscates all of the need for that, and it wraps up all of the infrastructure for building an experience and packages it in a sandbox inside of Looker so that you can just bring your experience, your JavaScript application, and plop it right on top of Looker. And the way that we make this easier is that you can leverage what all of your the tools and developer components that Looker provides to you right inside of the extension framework. So things like UI components that make it easy for you to build a beautiful experience, and all of the APIs and SDKs that Looker offers today for you to stitch together the experience, connect to the data, leverage the data model, leverage the user attributes and user permissions. So again, all you have to focus on is the experience itself. And you can still get the individual things that we build as well from our marketplace. This is where we store all of our blocks and data visualizations and all of the different kinds of things that make it easy for you to deploy Looker. This is where we will be deploying our own extensions as well. And it's a vehicle that you can use and our partners can use to deploy their own extensions and experiences. We think of this as kind of the central hub for all of the content that extends Looker and brings it to that next level. In terms of the way that we want to take advantage of this ourselves, we're not going to let you be the only ones that have fun with it. We've already started to build a bunch of extensions and applications that allow us to rapidly deploy experiences right on top of Looker. So the first thing that we've deployed is now GA, is a data dictionary. This is our way of allowing you to investigate your data model and be able to tie into it and look at things like metadata and preview fields and understand the descriptions that you've added to the data itself. And soon, we're going to be taking that further by creating what we call an ERD, or an entity relationship diagram. This is a visual way of looking at your model and seeing how things are all connected together. And we can do these things really quickly using the extension framework. It allows us to, again, just leverage the platform itself and build these visual experiences and these data-driven applications right on top and let people play with them, let people engage with them and ask questions of the data really quickly. So if there's three things that I want you to take away from the extension framework and from working on the platform in this way, the first is that our goal is to reduce the friction for developers. We want you to focus on the experience that you want to drive and how you can operationalize the data itself. And speaking of operationalizing the data, that is the most important part about how we take advantage of modern organizations and the data culture that we are trying to create within them. And the data culture is important because that's how we all speak the same language. This is how we make sure that we are all working together in order for us to automate all of the things that we are doing, derive insights from our data, and make us all work in sort of the same workflow. And all of this is, of course, taking advantage of the Looker platform itself. We are, of course, API first, and we're built in the cloud. We are building on top of this rich data model that allows us to govern the questions that we ask. And we're taking advantage of the data warehouse that you already have. So all of the computation, all of the storage that you're already taking advantage of for your own purposes, we can leverage that power with the platform itself. The extension framework is just extending to you the ability to now build experiences right on top of all of that goodness.